Okay, so in this tutorial, we're going to be doing some kind of more advanced work here to try to get our domain set up. This can be a complicated process for a lot of people, and we want to make sure that you feel pretty confident in knowing how to do that. So the first thing that we need you to be able to do is to access your domain provider. So what that means is that if you have Squarespace, GoDaddy, Namecheap, you want to make sure that you know how to get logged into that domain provider, because in your domain provider is how you're going to go through and do the process of adding these records. So if you don't have a domain, then you should get one, for your business. Like, you should get something really simple that is branded based off of what you want. Maybe it's just your name. So it's just like a simple place to be able to go, and there's ways that you can actually buy a domain within LeadShop. So if you go to settings down in the bottom left and then click on domains, then you can purchase a domain straight out of LeadShop, and then you'll be able to also host it here with the website and those kind of tools. Some of these features might not be available with certain LeadShop plans, so you're just going to want to check to make sure you have the right plan that allows you to build websites. And those would be like the starter plan and the standard plan, the premium plan, etc. So you want to go through, make sure you got a domain purchased, and then once you have that domain purchased, you can go in and we're going to go ahead and start adding records. So the way that we want to do that is we got Squarespace pulled up in this instance, and we can go in and find a domain that we own, and then go into DNS, and then here we would go through and add records. So this is a DNS record. A DNS record is a way for the domain provider to communicate to the hosting service what information is verified between the two. It's a way to confirm and verify that you do in fact own the domain that you're trying to host a website on. So that is key. What you want to do now is select connect a domain and then click on connect. And then what do we type in this domain? So you could connect your website to this domain. You could connect a subdomain. A subdomain is kind of like what you might use for like a landing page or a store or a blog or a webinar. And those use different records. If you want to connect your website, then you just type your website right in, just like that. And then you click on continue. And then you could click add records manually. And then here are the records. And you would just go ahead and you would add those over here into Squarespace. You put in @ as the host. The record type is an A record. And then you got the required value right there. And you just copy it, paste it, save. Then after you've saved it, it's going to add that as a listed record. And then you add the second record right here, www, click CNAME record. That's the type of record it is. And then copy this and go ahead and paste it. Click save. I'm going to discard those. And then after you've saved it into your records, you can now click verify. And then now that you got that verified, your records are there. Now this domain, 360sportsman.org in this instance, will allow you to build a website off of it here in LeadShop. So you could go to funnels, website stores, and now you can use that domain to create your website. And so what we're going to do is go to websites, sites right here, and you could find a template funnel. You could click on websites and find a template website. You can create a template store. You could do a template webinar. So those give you a couple options. So you want to click on new website, and in this case, we'll find a template. And then we want this one. It's perfect. We'll click on continue. It's then going to add that template. It's going to load it up, all the different layouts and everything, and then it's going to take us right into it. And so you'll be able to see as soon as it loads here that this is the default domain, but that does not mean that your domain is active. You need to make sure you connect it. So now I can go to connect a domain, and then from this list I would select my 360sportsman.org website. It's going to be available if I've just gone through those DNS record steps to verify it. So now I have connected my domain. This is going to switch. It's now going to say 360sportsman.org. And now I'll have this website that if I typed in 360sportsman.org, this page right here would pop up. So it'll be live at that point. So you want to make sure that if you're transferring your DNS records over to a LeadShop website, that you got your LeadShop website live, active, ready to go, and that it's not going to direct to something that is not published. So in the web builder tools here, you can use all sorts of elements. We're not going to dive too much into building websites at this moment, but that is how you can access the different templates and connect a domain. If you go to settings, then you're going to see that website, that domain listed right there. And then you could have a favicon URL, and that would be from your media storage. You want to upload a picture of your logo to the media storage. And in this case, maybe we select some icon in here. Maybe we want this to be our favicon. The favicon is this little icon up here in your tab window. So you just will upload a picture straight from your files to the media storage. And then once it's here, you'll click on the three dots and click Get Link. And then you go to Sites, and we'll go find our site that we just designed. Go to Settings, and then paste it. So now, when this site is live, and we pull it up on our tab, that little green star is going to appear right there if we've gone ahead and clicked on Save. The head tracking code and body tracking code are primarily for you could use them for Facebook pixels or different custom codes. You could change the path to be something like home. If you want to rename your website to be like insurance site or bio site, whatever you want to do with that. You can add a chat widget, and chat widgets are there. But the main point of the tutorial here is just to go through and figure out how to connect the domain itself. It's really simple. Again, you can purchase it right here. You can click connect a domain, go to that funnel, go ahead and type it in. Now, if you're going to be doing kind of like subdomains and you're going to use those as funnels, so maybe you want to create like a webinar or like a blog site or something, then what you want to do is you want to type in something like blog dot, and then in this case I'll do 360sportsman.org, and then click on continue, add record. Now all I do is I got these records that I'll go in and select add record, and then type in blog, CNAME record, and we got this sites.ludicrous, and we'll go ahead and paste that right there, and then click on save. Now it's going to verify that and save that under my listed records, and then I'll be able to use that domain to connect to like a landing page. So what's the use for that? Like, why would anyone do that? Well, if you have like your primary website, so say I have, in this case, I'll just demonstrate like 360sportsman.org. This is an A record. That's the type of record. So this is an A record. It's directing to my primary website. Okay. But then if I want to do I want to use my domain, but I want to create like a separate page or separate website without having to buy a new domain, then I'd use a subdomain. So that's where I'm just using a CNAME record by adding those records and adding the beginning host as intro. Now I've done that. Now this is taking me to a landing page. So now we can start capturing data with that. So this sort of setup here is really useful if you've got webinars, blogs, stores that you want to use, and you don't want to just have like a bunch of paths on that. You want to keep it kind of separate. Try it out, see what works best for you. But when it comes to like verifying your company, when it comes to setting up more of your Lead Shop account, this is going to be a really helpful thing to have when it comes to setting up your phone number. And when it comes to setting up your phone number, you might need to verify like your website through the A2P registration process, like what you're trying to do there. And so we're going to get into another tutorial on the A2P registration and some things to look at, but you might need to set up your domain before you even go in to set up your phone number, because when the A2P registration needs to verify that you're a legitimate business, you need to have a website and it needs to have a privacy policy page. So we'll get into that stuff, but for now, that is how you set up your domain and connect it to a website or to a funnel. And if you have any questions on that, please let us know.